Work with farmers and ranchers all along the pipeline route, not only in the state of Nebraska, and we're very proud to say that we have made sure that TransCanada has no legal route in Nebraska, and so we're very proud of that fact. We have stopped the pipeline in its tracks for the last 5.5 years, and it isn't because of DC lobbyists or DC pundits, it's because of the grassroots farmers and ranchers and tribal communities who have stopped this pipeline. We don't need to match the millions of dollars that they have, because the tribes have the moral authority and farmers and ranchers have the rights to their land to make sure that TransCanada, a foreign tar sands corporation, will never cross our land and water, and we will stop the tar sands at the source once and for all. I wanted to make sure that press know the flow of events. We only have a few things that will be happening today. We have a few things that are going to be happening today. We are going to be putting up the ceremonial center teepee, and that will be put up by tribal members, but the poles will be handed to them by Cowboys. We have a few speakers that Dallas is going to be introducing. Dallas Goldtooth is my partner in crime the whole week, which I'm very excited about. And so I just want to thank everybody for being here.
Yeah, stick around.
We are here for one simple reason, and it is to tell President Obama to reject the Keystone XL Pipeline in order to protect our land and water.
Thank you very much. How's everyone feeling today? You can feel the power of today, that drum, those horses. There's a lot of energy, a lot of spiritual power here. And like Jane just explained, we're here to show Obama, to show Washington, D.C., the very faces of the people that the decision of the KXL pipeline affects. These people represent families, they represent communities, they represent entire nations. And so they here bring their stories here to say no to the Keystone XL pipeline, to all pipelines, and to look at the source and stopping it at the source up in the tar sands. And the indigenous people here, the native people here, stand in solidarity with the Dene and the Cree nations in Alberta in the tar sands, the source of the pipeline. So no pipelines, no oil. So at this time I'm gonna invite my brother to come on up. Wheezy Pond, little out. Okay, I got to talk right into the mic right here like this. All right. We're gonna put up this teepee. We have our teepee camp here that's set up, and it just so happened that we have 7 lodges, and that matches up with our teachings of the Oceti Sakowin, the 7 council fires, which is now known as the Dakota, Lakota, Nakota nations, or the Great Sioux Nation, but we call ourselves the Oceti Sakowin. And so we're going to be putting up a center teepee. I'm going to have Weezy here talk a little bit about the significance of that lodge. And I'm going to ask my Tui, my auntie, Faith Spotted Eagle, to talk about the women's place in that lodge, and also the some of her teachings that she has here.
Good afternoon. I greet you with a good heart. My name is Weezy, and I'm a representative from the Rosebud Sioux Tribe, and I'm joined on the stage today by the president of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe, Mr. Cyril Scott, and there are a number of our council members who are here as well. And this is to show that our tribal government has taken official action opposing the Keystone XL pipeline as a First Nation, as a tribal nation, as a sovereign nation of this country. Today, we're going to be erecting a teepee as part of the teepee encampment here. As Dallas stated, we have 7 teepees that have been erected. These represent the 7 bands of the Oceti Sakowin. Okay, we're back. These represent the 7 bands of the Oceti Sakowin, which means the 7 council fires of the Great Sioux Nation. The Great Sioux Nation is made up of an alliance of 3 divisions, the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota. When we start to build the teepee, we're going to erect a tripod. And the tripod, those first 3 poles, represents the alliance of those 3 bands of the Great Sioux Nation. We're then going to hand poles up. And as we hand the poles up, what we're going to do is we're going to form the points of a star. Because the Lakota believe that we come from the stars. And so we're going to build an image of that here upon the earth. Once the poles are put in place, we're going to then tie the teepee covering to a pole, and we're going to put it in the back. And the back of that pole represents the backbone of our nation, which is the woman. The woman is the one who owns the teepee. She is the one who takes care of it. It is them who are the ones who erect the teepee, because they are the caretakers and the caregivers of our people. And so in that way, the teepee also represents a woman, and it represents the Mother Earth. The flaps of the teepee are then going to be spread around the teepee. And this represents the woman wrapping her arms around the teepee and enfolding it and making it a home. And then we're going to pull the teepee together, and we're going to lash it together. We're putting an 8th teepee up to represent an alliance of the Lakota and of the farmers and ranchers and the cowboys, and also to represent the other tribes that have come here to join us today. Historically, cowboys and Indians fought. But it's modern times. Things have changed. And so now we're joining together. We're holding hands. We're forming an alliance to protect that which is sacred to us, to protect the land, to protect the water. And so this is a historic moment here in DC, where we have traditional enemies coming together, and we exchanged gifts, and we made friends and relatives with the other people here. And together, we're going to raise our voices, and we're going to let the administration know that we will be heard. We're going to let the American people know that we will be heard. The reason why we're coming together is because this is our land. We're not going to move. Lakota people, Indian people have been here for 10,000 years, and we're going to be here for 10,000 more. We've been joined by new relatives, the farmers and the ranchers, and they've made a home on the land as well. And for those parts where they own, they're going to stay there for generations. They've been there for generations, and they're going to stay there for generations. And that's why we're forming an alliance to protect the land, to protect our water. So with that, we're going to introduce Faith Spotted Eagle. She's a traditional elder, a knowledgeable spiritual leader, and one of our grandmothers. And so it's a big honor to introduce her, and she's going to share a lot of wisdom with us. So with that, I'll hand it over. Wopila.
Okay. Friends and relatives, we greet you on this beautiful red day. I'm standing here with allies to my left and to my right. Dakota Michaja, I'm Standing Stone. My English name is Faith Spotted Eagle. I'm from the Ihangtuma Oyate. The English people called us Yankton. We call ourselves Ihangtuma. Almost every tribal group, the translation of our name is the people. So we stand here with the people. To my left are the allies, part of our linguistic group, the Great Southern Ponca Nation of Oklahoma. the first spiritual camp, they came together in January of last year, and we recreated the international treaty to protect the sacred against KXL and tar sands intrusions. We signed an actual treaty in January of 2013. The Southern Ponca came up and joined us. The great Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma, who were traditional enemies, came forward. We established relationship with them, and we have presented this treaty to the tar sands First Nations people up in Canada. We've had 6 more First Nations come forward and sign that treaty. And that treaty, with that treaty, we mean business. Of all people, we know how not to break a treaty. We know that well, and so we stand by that treaty. Many other nations have come forth. We now have 10 First Nations in a sovereign way that are standing with that treaty. At that event, we had our allies who also signed that treaty. And in their time when they came, when the settler nation came to our lands, we used to present buffalo robes to honor people. When we were captive on the reservations, we couldn't always hunt our buffalo. So many of the settler women brought their sewing skills. And because we come from the Star Nation, we began to sew the star quilts. And with their standing beside us, we began to present star quilts as part of our way of honoring in place of the buffalo robe. The buffalo robe is what originally, when it was tanned, was used to cover, as Wizipa Tushka said, that symbolizes the arms of the women encircling the nation. And as he said, the backbone of the nation is the women, because we are co-creator. And being co-creator, we have to be very humble about that, because we also bring life. So we have to walk in that way of remembrance that we have a responsibility, but we also turn into Mother Bear. And we stand here as Mother Bears to defend our land, our farms, our ranches, our treaty territory. They're violating our treaty territory, treaty water. And we've come to say that enough is enough. We are not going to let TransCanada pass our treaty lands. The teepee, what we're doing now with the teepee is the 13 poles symbolize the 13 moons that women experience on Mother Earth. We have 13 moons, and every 4 days of that month you are seen as being sacred. You sit in a humble way, and you begin to realize your representation for the nation. The rope that will go down in the middle of the teepee, it'll connect with Mother Earth. That symbolizes our umbilical cord to Mother Earth. We are here symbolic of the representation of Mother Earth. We are worried about man camps that are coming to our territory. If we have seen our women suffer, 1 out of 3 women in our nation have been sexually assaulted by non-native people. When you assault us, you assault Mother Earth, and we can't have that. So in this teepee, we're sharing our lodge with you. The lodge is a place where everybody has a place in there, and we're going to create this lodge for all of you. We're going to do it with prayers. We have Nacha, which is warriors, and the young women will put the last teepee pole in place to symbolize that backbone of that nation. But there's many, many teachings in each one of those actions that will take place. It's a ceremony of our people. So we're really thankful that you can witness this with us today. There are teepees that are going up all along the Keystone Corridor. The first spiritual camp was at Neely, Nebraska, on the Ponca Trail of Tears. That happened in November. The second one is Rosebud. The third one, we have the Cheyenne River here somewhere. And the Bridger camp has gone up in Cheyenne River because they're passing through 2 sacred camps of our people. The next camp will be the Kudwichasha, the Lower Brule people, will be setting up their camp. For the Ihamptwa, our place in the 7 council fires is at the end. We watch the door. They place us there to watch the door, so we're supporting all of the camps. And the Oglalas will be setting up on the so-called border. We see no border, but they will also be setting up there to be in solidarity with our First Nation brothers and sisters. Wopita.
At this time, we're going to transition over here to put the lodge up. The Indigo girls our musical group that they're going to be performing on stage while that lodge goes up, but they're going to be facing that way. So we're transitioning. Cameras folks can come back around. Our supporters, ranchers, our native folks can move towards the teepee area. We're going to be putting the lodge up.
Say that only the women are going to help? I'm very good. You're good at that? I'm going to get this time after y'all.